What's going on? We back, Motor City Sports Talk. I told you guys I had a Lion video lined up after the Piston video we just talked about, Ed Stefanowski. And today, I wanted to bring a debatable topic up. Got into it with a lot of different people over the last few months or over the last few years about Matthew Stafford being better than Matt Ryan. Most people say, well, Matt Ryan won a playoff game. And NFL is a team sport, and it's been a way better team around Matt Ryan than it's been around Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? I'm just lead a Super Bowl last year or 2 years ago up out of it because it's way more pudding to get into when you talk about Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan is a capable quarterback. I won't say that out of Boston College, but in my opinion, Matthew Stafford is better. In my opinion, if you put Matt Ryan in the same circumstance that Matthew Stafford was in, I believe Matt Ryan wouldn't be half as successful as Matthew Stafford is. And people got to remember that the Lions was 0-16, I think, the year after Matthew Stafford. Well, when Matthew Stafford got there, they was coming off an 0-16 season. And also, you got to remember that they retained Matt Millen's cabinet, his team. Martin Mayhew and Tom Lewine was from the Mayhew cabinet. And those guys was telling Mayhew to make some bad picks from what he said to Peter King in that article. And shout out to, and prayers go out to Matt Millen. Needs a heart transplant. I'm not saying that Matt Ryan came into the perfect situation in Atlanta, but let's look at it, man. He's had, he has Michael Turner. He had Roddy White while he was still good. I mean, eventually, whoever, Tom Demetria, that's his name is, who runs the Falcons, he's put a great team around Matt Ryan. Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, Julio Jones, Taylor Gabriel was there last year. Mohamed Sanu was a heaven sent. Before that, they had Michael the Turner Burner, Tony Gonzalez. Julio was still on that team. And then they got an up-and-coming young defense. Matt Ryan, he should have a Super Bowl or two in his back pocket with the team they put around him. He should. But you talk about, he's a good quarterback. But obviously, he got everything a quarterback can want. He probably got the most complete team in the league, and he can't win. He can't win. Matthew Stafford is balling behind, no offensive line, no running back. And people say, we had Calvin Johnson. Well, Matt Ryan had Julio Jones. That's the next best thing to Calvin Johnson in most people's opinion. And some people put Julio over Calvin. They crazy, though. But Matt Ryan, he got everything. They said they didn't have enough blocking. They got Alex Mack and the Matthews kid, the left tackle. Michael Turner left. They got Freeman. They eventually got Coleman out of Indiana. They got Julio. What else does he need? They got a good young defense. And he's still failing over there. You put him in the lines behind that offensive line, and without a running game, Matt Ryan probably be out the league, man. He'd probably be on the same stretch that David Carr was on when he got to Houston. And I'm just speaking facts. Stafford has defied all odds being in Detroit. And I'm surprised he still stayed through all the BS that he's been through. Through the two injuries early in his career, the shoulder injury, through the non-blocking, through the lack of drafting, guys that he thought he was going to have a good rapport with. That was going to be Calvin's, relief valve, and Titus Young and Nate Burleson, injuring himself with the pizza, to the sucky tight ends from Pettigrew to Eric Ebron, to the running backs that just never materialized, to the offensive line who played one good year, he balled out, through all the referees, through the pissy defenses, through the good defenses, and not having a good offensive coordinator. He's been through his ups and downs, and people still want to blame him, and rightfully so. But when it's time to win, and when he wins, I want him to get all the credit plus some, because he came into a situation where I believe 85% of quarterbacks that would have came into this situation since he got drafted would not have succeeded. And Matt Ryan is a guy that fell into a good position, and he still can't succeed. He had thrown interceptions. His arm's not as good as Stafford. He's not as mobile as Stafford. He does really nothing better than Stafford. He just got a better supporting cast. Truthfully. They was calling him Matty Ice, and what happened in the Super Bowl? He wasn't there. And it's really not a debate. And I could say, well, Matt Ryan has won this, and I'll give you that. But like I said, it's a team effort. When you talking about player for player, I think if you put Matthew Stafford on that Atlanta team, he'll own the NFL. He'll be MVP. He scored 45 touchdowns with 11 interceptions with Calvin Johnson and some other guys. I can't remember who was always on that team. But he dropped 45 touchdowns. Came back in mostly every game that year. He's a baller. And at the end of the day, they putting all these different quarterbacks over him. And all these different quarterbacks got all these weapons and still can't beat Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? They got all these different weapons. You know what I'm saying? Got the perfect defensive coordinators. Got the perfect defense. Got the perfect receivers. Got the system. Got the offensive coordinator. This dude has been in the cave, man. In the cave. He done had offensive coordinators that ain't moved on and did jack nothing. He's been handcuffing Detroit. He has. And hopefully Matt Patricia can bring some competence to this offense and to this team. Because definitely the struggle and took Stafford under, but he keep getting out the grasp of the struggle and still performing. It ain't all his fault that this team ain't winning. It ain't. When you got to drop back 50 times a game to even be in the ball game and still play most of the season and still be healthy, that's hard, man. When Matt Ryan can hand the ball off and throw it to the flats to them two running backs and still got Julio over the top and he still ain't won nothing. Lost to a backup quarterback last year, Nick Foles. With all them weapons, the defense, the offensive line, the run, all them weapons, he still lost. Year before that, they was the most unstoppable team out there. Still had a 20-point something lead and still lost in the Super Bowl. It was because of him. It's because of him. It can't be because of nobody else. Ain't too many people out there dropping balls and fumbling. No, it's because of him. He ain't showing up. He ain't no Matty Ice. And he getting ranked above guys based on his team. It's a few quarterbacks out there that's better than him. You put him in that Atlanta Falcons on that Atlanta Falcons team and see what happened. And he gonna get exposed too, y'all. Because Julio won a new contract. Devontae Freeman just got one. Tevin Coleman gonna need one. Mohamed Sanu gonna want one. I know they got the Calvin Ridley guy, so he gonna be replacing Mohamed Sanu. Taylor Gabriel that moved on. That young defense contracts gonna come up over there. Watch when that team started to strip of talent, how he wither into the wind and be very, very ordinary and possibly get moved up out of there. He should never deserve that contract he got. He's a product of Julio Jones, Freeman, and the whole surrounding cast around him. And I'm going to stand on that. And I'm telling y'all guys, Matthew Stafford is by far a better quarterback. Motor City Sports Talk. Don't forget, we on Facebook and Instagram. Links in the description. We gone.